A very good evening and welcome to Afrique 24-hour TV. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad that you're watching Afrique 24-hour TV. And today, Thursday, 7th March 2024, we are glad that you're watching Afrique TV and we are glad that you are here on our daily political talk show. These are talk show that comes on your screen every day. That is from 10 p.m. up to past midnight. And what do we do here? We specifically discuss some of the things that are happening in Kenyan politics, things that involve Kenyans, things that involve Africans from wherever you are. That is why at Afrique, we're saying that we are unlocking the African stories. To welcome on board with me, I'm having my co-host, that is Boniface Kimanzi, who will be taking me through and taking you through some of the things that are happening in the Kenyan political sphere. As we try to analyze, we try to get more information, and we also try to get your views and your feeling towards what is taking place. So if you're joining us for the first time, I will really request you that you start by subscribing to our channel. It's simple. Just a click on your phone or click on your laptop, go to YouTube, look for Afrique 24-hour. You'll see our beautiful logo there. Click on it, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share with friends and relatives. And if you're joining this show to show some appreciation, kindly like the video and also do share. I know people are joining me from different destinations. There's someone joining me from Tembei TV, some also joining me from Leo TV, and of course, most of you are joining me from Afrique 24-hour TV, whether Facebook or YouTube. Ensure you like and share the video. And if you don't like the video, you also have an option of disliking the video. Those people who are joining me from YouTube. And very soon, we will also be live in Twitter, that is X, and TikTok. So keep it here, keep on subscribing as we grow this channel of ours. And on top of the story, there's a lot that have happened this week. We've had so many political meetings. We've had so many development gatherings, and we've seen different leaders giving the opinions. We've seen different leaders who've not been there emerging, and one of these leaders that we'll look at later is Charity Gilu. We'll look at Junet Mohammed. We'll look at Ali Hassan Joho. They're some of the leaders that people thought that have left active politics, but now it seems politics is becoming more active than never before. So top on our stories, the question that today we are asking our viewers and our panelists, who of course will have to join this conversation, is that, is Kenya ready for a woman deputy president? And to an extension, is Kenya ready for a woman president? And maybe if I become a little bit African, is Kenya ready for women leadership? That's the question that we're asking, and I'll tell you why we are asking this question. So it's simple. You can join this conversation through the comment section just by letting me know where you are joining us from, and maybe your name, your views. You can put them on the comment section. And if you so wish to join the studio, it's also simple. I'm sharing a link there. So the link will take you to StreamYard. What you need to do is to allow StreamYard to configure your audio and video. Then you'll find yourself with me and Mr. Kimanzi here on studio deliberating on this. So before I welcome Mr. Kimanzi to introduce himself, of course you know him, but I know for the sake of our first-time viewers, I just want to maybe give him 2 minutes to introduce himself, tell us where he's joining us from. Then I'll tell you what next. Mr. Kimanzi, karibu.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leo, for this wonderful opportunity, and I appreciate so much. This is our daily political show that always happen every day from Monday to Sunday. I always welcome anyone from all over the parts of the world to join this Afrique 24, because here we are going to share a lot of content, and we are going to educate each other so that we can know what the future holds when it comes to political matters.
Thank you so much, Boniface, and welcome on board. I do appreciate your presence this wonderful evening. It's really great to see people discussing matters Kenyan politics, people discussing issues that are affecting us as Kenyans. I know the question that we're asking today, maybe that is going to form the basis of this kind of debate or kind of discussion is Kenya ready for a woman deputy president? So kindly, if you are watching this, I want to see your views on the comment section. You can write it there. You can also join the studio and give your views one-on-one. Are we ready as a country to have a deputy president who is a female? Yes, we've been having deputy presidents, we've been having presidents, but we've never had a female one. We were close to having one, if you remember, in the 2022 general elections, when one of the top contenders, one of the top competitors, that is His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, had a deputy running mate. Oh, he had a running mate. Sorry, not a deputy, but he had a running mate who was a lady. That is Honorable Wangari Maathai Karua. But it didn't happen. That was the time that Kenya came close to having a female deputy president. Yes, of course, there's some candidates. People like Gachagwa also had a female as a running mate, but they were not that close. But this one for Raila and Maathai Karua, they were close. And had Raila won the elections, I know this is something that is contentious, so let me just talk about what is happening, the reality. Had Raila won the elections, we will be having a deputy president. In 1997, we also had an opportunity of having a female president. That is when Charity Ngilu contested, and it's good we are discussing Charity Ngilu because right now she is active in politics, and we're also going to see some of the sentiments that she made. She shown some interest of joining the government or joining the active political arena. She lost to Daniel Moi, that is in 1997. We also saw an opportunity in 2013 when the Iron Lady, Maathai Karua, boldly ran for the position of president. She lost to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. From the sentiments of the president today, it seems this kind of, how do you call it, the gospel of female leadership is gaining momentum. So before maybe I ask my co-host some questions or maybe allow you people to interact with me, let me play for you this video.
Cecily Mbarire, that when Rigiji and myself tukifika hapo mbele na tumepangana, tumekubaliana vile itaenda, we must also agree that going forward, if a man is a candidate for president in our party, the woman must be the runner. And if a woman is the candidate, then a man can be a running mate. Okay? And we must also cascade it down to the governors. So, and we must be intentional and deliberate about it, otherwise it will never happen. And I know fellow party leaders in other parties will agree with us, because we all agree, because I'm sure the party leader in Wiper supported Wavinya, the party leader in ODM supported Gladys, and all the other party leaders supported their women candidates. So we will do this not because we want to do anything against men, but we want to balance so that we all move together. And Madam says, as you undertake that exercise, you will have my 100% support. And I know Governor Sakaja and my good friend Kimani Ichung'wah will also be supportive of that exercise. Much progress has been made, especially with regard to financial inclusion, with women remaining consistent in the uptake of various financial inclusion facilities and affirmative action funds. Out of the 21 million Kenyans who have borrowed from the Hustler Fund today, 10.1 million are women, constituting 48% of the fund's beneficiaries. Out of this, 8.8 million women have borrowed a total of 23 billion of the total of 47 billion already led. And let me say that the average age of women accessing the Hustler Fund is 35, compared to 39 for men. So more women, more younger women are more conscious, about what they need to do. And therefore, the mentorship that has been going on. And let me say something very deliberate here. Charity Ngilu occupies a very special place in our country. She is the first woman to dare to run for president, materially. And she's been a great inspiration. I must say this. I know Charity is many times very hard on me, but I must say this about her, that she is a great inspiration to many women, not in her party, to many women across Kenya. Her daring spirit has inspired many of these women who are today leaders in Kenya. I want to ask those of you who are leaders today, please, the mentorship that Charity gave you, please mentor others by demonstrating great leadership going into the future. And we are going to stand together to work with you. The last election proved to be a transformational watershed in women's participation in political leadership. As a result, the number of women in each category of elective leadership grew, with the greatest leap being in the number of counties which elected female governors. Kwale here, Fatuma Chani, Machakos there, Wavinya Ndeti, Kirinya.
Yes, I think one first you heard that the president is really stressing on the need to have women in leadership. Today he was attending the G7. That's a group of 7 female governors who were elected in the last elections. And later on, I'll play for you maybe some of the sentiments of Charity Ngilu, whom he really praised as the first woman to dare run from the seat of presidency, for the seat of presidency. That one happened in 1997 when Charity had this party called SDP, the Social Democratic Party, the party that they were together with the senior counsel, James Orengo, who is the current governor of Siaya. And again, ladies did not surprise in 2013 when we saw the Iron Lady running for the position. Then later on in 2022, the Iron Lady decided to step back and run as a deputy president. But unluckily, he didn't manage. So Bonfas, I just want to ask you a general question. Do you think Kenya is ready for a woman deputy president?
Thank you so much, Mr. Leo. Again, I appreciate for this wonderful moment. But again, as we pioneer this topic for today, that Kenya now wants to get a DP who is a woman. The big question is, will she be able to withstand other men when it comes to competition? But again, that one gives a signal that Mount Kenya region is going to erupt, as we have discussed, because Rigathi Gachagwa definitely has those hopes that come 2032 is going to win this election as the president. So if William Samoei Ruto takes a woman come 2027, that will be a big heartbreak to Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. So I don't think whether Kenya is ready, and this one needs a lot of concern, because we know Deputy President has been there for Ruto. So it will take some time.
So you say it will take some time for Kenya to have a deputy president who is a woman. Why do you think so? Because does it mean you don't believe that in 2022 Raila would have won elections? Because in 2022 we saw Raila having a female running mate. So had he won the elections, or had he been declared, I don't want to be so controversial, but had he been declared the winner in that election, then we will be having a female deputy president. Do you think you didn't believe in that one happening in 2022?
Yeah, definitely. I don't believe that could happen because we saw what happened to Mother Karua, despite her being the running mate for Raila Amolo Odinga. She gave only a small percentage of votes when it comes to general election. That means that
So,
he had no
are you
influence when it
trying to
comes to
say
politics.
that there is a possibility that Raila lost because he picked a female as the deputy president? So, do you mean had Raila picked a male, then it would have been easy for him?
Yeah, definitely it would be easy for him because if you see the percentage that Mother Karua contributed to general election, that shows that she was not ready and she had not influenced people to an extent that they can vote for her as the deputy president. So it was a bit tricky because we saw what happened in Gishugu constituents where Mother Karua comes from. So they gave only a few percentage of votes, and again we expected to get a lot of votes from that region. So it was tough for Raila Amolo Odinga, and that was the biggest mistake that they made by choosing a woman. But again, it is good because it showed equalness, and again it showed people are ready to share the powers because it has only been man and a man. So they needed to change the leadership. But again, was she ready? Was he able to convince Kenyans to vote for her? I think that was the biggest mistake for Raila Amolo Odinga.
Okay, I'm getting there. I'm coming back to you, Boniface, because we have to look at this thing extensively. You'll realize that if you look at the statistics of voters, majority of the voters that we have in this country are women. And we're also going to see why is it that women don't find it easy voting for their fellow women. Because if we were maybe in a country that women believe in themselves, then instead of even seeing the campaigns of maybe people from Central against people from Western, or people from Central against people from Northern, or people who go to church against people who don't go to church, I think we will be seeing competition of men versus women. And in that case, I bet women can carry the day because they're the majority. Just as when Jabazi Kamili is saying that sijui kwa nini mnapotenda kupoteza watu, deputy sio rais Ruto hajasema. Oh, Ruto did not speak of 2032. I think you maybe you got him out of context, and just to sort that, I'll just play this one for you, just for the benefit of doubt. Then we'll try to analyze it together, because politics is about analyzing it. In politics, people don't speak plain, people don't speak directly, they speak in parables, they speak in some hidden words. So it is upon the politically wise to unearth what they are saying. Just listen to this.
Mbarire is the chair of UDA, not by default. It is deliberate and it is intentional. And one of the assignments she has is that we must, as a party, lead from the front, and we must make it in the rules, Madam Cecily Mbarire, that when Rigiji and myself tukifika hapo mbele na tumepangana, tumekubaliana vile itaenda, we must also agree that going forward, if a man is a candidate for president in our party, the woman must be the runner. And if a woman is the candidate, then a man can be a.
That was it. Boniface, do you think the suggestion by the president can ensure that we achieve this, whereby if it is a man, the president, the woman is a running mate? If a man, a woman, the president, then man becomes the running mate. Do you think this one is a solution that can really work?
At some point I can agree, and at some point I will not agree, because here we need someone who can compete with William Ruto, with other leaders. But again, if William Ruto chooses a woman, we know that he is the kingpin now when it comes to elections. And again, he won the elections back in 2022. So that means that he will always win come 2027 if Raila Amolo Odinga will not be there. So I think this is the right move, because women will feel highly considered to the government, despite the 47 counties whereby we have the Senate, the women rep. So we need to get a woman who can be the running mate come to 2027 general elections. I think this one is the right move. And again, William Ruto shows love to women. That's why you saw how they were cheering whenever he was talking.
And maybe another quick question. When the president was talking, we saw people like Charity Kalokingilu there. She was there. The president really praised her courage. And those are the governors. Remember, we are having a governor like Governor Anne Waiguru, who is retiring. We're also having ladies who ran before, like Martha Karua. Do you think the president is, in other words, trying to tell Gachagua that maybe 2027, when I'll be going for the second term, we are going to make this agreement, and shall we make this agreement, then I'll obviously replace you? What is your interpretation?
This one is, yeah, I think this one is true because we saw Mother Karua what he contributed to the government. So William Ruto now he has those ideas that he can choose anyone, and we saw that he wanted to choose Charity Kalukingilu. What does that mean? He has praised Charity Kalukingilu, the former governor of Kitui. This means that he has the idea now, and we saw what the leaders are saying, that it is time for Charity Kalukingilu now, so that he can become the deputy president. But again, is Kaluki able to compete with other leaders? But again, we know that Kaluki has been a phenomenon when it comes to general elections. So I think things can be in the right order when he chooses a woman, because we know that women, whenever they feel considered, definitely they are going to vote massively.
The question that people should be asking if Kalokingili is able for the task, because she tried to run she was the first woman to dare run in 1997. Then she was then followed by Martha Karua, and they both did not make it. Then we saw Martha Karua tried to come back as a deputy president, and it did not work. So that is your take. And maybe my viewers, if you're joining me for the first time, we are just trying to weigh on the Kenyan politics. Like today, the president initiated a debate that people have always kept away from. This is a debate that people have never given it an opportunity to discuss, but some of the things that Kenyans need to discuss. If you look at our neighbors, Tanzania, they are having a female president, the first one of its kind in Eastern Africa. How did this one happen? Similar thing that the president is hinting at, whereby if you're having a president who is a male, then the deputy becomes female. So that is what happened in Tanzania. We had Magufuli having a deputy running mate. So when Magufuli, may his soul rest in peace, passed, then automatically the female became a president. So maybe the president have realized that is the way women can be able to ascend to power, because what has always happened is that when people go for when people go for elections, most women shy away from these elections. I think it is because of how our elections are normally conducted. You'll find that our elections, some of them are normally conducted in such a violent way that female feel that it needs some manpower for you to become somebody in the electoral sphere. Maybe because of some cultures, we have to understand that we are Africans, and as Africans, there are some communities who still preserve the negative African culture that was against female maybe leading, that placed the female as the second maybe people in the community. So I think the president might have seen this is the right way, or maybe this is the only easiest way for female to lead. But that one, I think, we can also not maybe agree with it fully, because if you look at the counties, there are counties that have been bold enough and they've elected women. And right now we're having 7 counties, they've elected women as governors. And if you look at the performance of these counties, they're the ones that are doing well compared to the ones that are being led by their male counterparts. I'm joined here by Mr. Washira. Good evening from this side. I know it's not yet, maybe it's afternoon from UK, right? Can you hear me? Thank you. Welcome to today's show. I'm just asking a simple, maybe a general question: that is Kenya ready for a woman deputy president? Remember, this is a debate that people have always kept off. People have not been discussing the role of women, maybe when women can be presidents and the deputy presidents. But we've had some women who've been so daring. Forget about the Wangare Madai, who are MPs and they fought for their space. In 1997, Charity Ngilu shocked the nation when she boldly, with her SDP party, joined the race and faced it against people like Raila was there, people like Daniel Moi. Unfortunately, she lost. In 2002, we didn't see that. In 2013, we saw Martha Karua boldly taking the battle to the battlefront. She lost. 2022, she came back as a running mate. Unfortunately, though controversial, she did not manage to make it. So do you think it is the right time that women are going to make it?
Yeah, I hope you can hear me. Yeah, can you?
You are loud and clear.
Thank you. So we are dealing with let's go back to what our society is, Kenya. Then we are a patriarchal society. So you analyze it very well in terms of, I mean, our women, you know, losing elections from the Ngilu, from Mother Karawa. And those are the ones that I can quote that were, you know, they were on the high end of, you know, they could clinch the deal. So here's the deal here. Ruto is praying to the Garali. And the reason he's doing that is because he sees the women folk, for lack of a better word, they are the biggest voting population. Young men and women, young men, sorry. And other than the old men, it's just like where I live in the US. The women folk vote more than the men folk. So what Ruto is trying to do, remember they had a conversation here where Aisha Juma could not even go to parliament to discuss the one-third gender rule in the Senate. So when you look at this, is playing to the public garrally, just to look, it's politicking, which is Ruto is very good at. So when I look at whatever Ruto is trying to do here, it's just gimmicks, if you will.
So you say it is just gimmicks. It is just a political statement to please the female voters, or the president is sincere in his pronouncement?
So let me answer your question, sir. What is happening here? I mean, the one-third gender rule is in the constitution, correct? And two, why was it never instituted? How come now the NADOC report is now we are discussing this? This is something that is in the constitution. It's nothing new. So what Ruto is doing is a gimmick, playing to the public garrally to look good to the women folk. People I respect women. So, I mean, this is, allow me to use this one. This is crap.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want us to sit down here and discuss around the one that, sorry, go ahead.
I'm saying I can hear you. I can hear you because, okay, the president have said it. It's a discussion that has always been there. You've also admitted that we are Africans. But if you look at our population generally in Kenya, you'll find that there are more females than males. Why do you think females don't find it easy to stand with one of their own? A situation whereby you find a man contesting and women contesting. We've never had that thing called gender card. They tried to maybe market it in the last general election, whereby they are talking of a mother effect, not mother, but the mother effect or the female effect, but it flopped. Why do you think we've not reached that situation whereby a lady can go and convince people that, you see, I'm one of your own. I understand the problems that are faced by women. Women are the ones who are taking care of society, blah, 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 and such kind of things. Why is it not easy for women to buy such idea and start bringing the female card on table?
I'll use an analogy, and I know I'll be hated here. Women are their own worst enemies.
I don't think you're the first person to say that. Even for the ones who did some literature, there are books that were written. There was one.
No, but I'll say it because women are their own worst enemies. And for me, actually, in as much as we have a patriarchal society in Kenya, I mean, you look at the records. Look at Homa Bay, for example, Grandes Wanga. I mean, we've seen women who, given the mandate to do what is supposed to be done, they are doing it. Yet, I'm a man like you, and the fellow guys who are in this frontier here. I mean, we have not proven ourselves. All we think about is, I mean, women being the brainchild of children have to be on the front line, and because they care. Men, I'm not gonna classify every single man that they don't care, but women do care more. But then now here we are. I'll go back to the same constitution that we have in 2010 constitution. They were given a third majority in parliament. What happened?
Yes.
What happened? So, because of the patriarchal society nature of our country, we as men, what do? We go back to the villages and everything else. I come from Karatina, so I know. I mean, we just victimize and everything about women, such that woman is never given that chance. And eventually, what ends up happening is a man gets there. So a man gets to occupy the seat that the woman was supposed to get. So at the end of the day, this gender rule, that gender rule is just a fallacy. Yeah, that's my point.
So the gender rule is just a fallacy, meaning you still don't agree that women in Kenya can have their space and produce a deputy president and a president in this country.
Correct.
Then maybe on the contrary, some people are seeing it that like the president is not respecting his deputy because he's already talking of all the women and such kind of things. So people see it as if he's telling Gachagwa that, okay, in 2027, we still have to sit down and have some fresh agreements and maybe fresh engagements. It is not a direct, that you're going to deputize me. Don't you see something like that?
I think for people who, unless you do not understand Ruto, not you, I'm saying unless people do not understand who Ruto is. Ruto is a politician, and Ruto can do anything. To Ruto, the end justifies the means. Let's just mark that one. I mean, somebody can underline that, and if I'm wrong, come correct me. Now, Ruto has realized he needs, in 2027, he needs the support of women. So what he's doing here is public thoroughly and trying to now appease to the women. Why? Because women vote more, and because he sandwiched the women and lied to them. So he's now trying to please them and telling them, okay, you know what, I'll have one of your own on the front seat. So
Yeah.
Gachagua, we all know, unless somebody is an idiot, we all know Gachagua was just a vehicle for Ruto to get the presidency. Gachagua is done.
What do you
So
mean?
now Ruto is looking for his plan B. So he had a plan A, B, and C. So
Okay.
plan B now is he's gonna use the women of Kenya, or generally not the women of Kenya, generally women who are Kenyans, yeah,
Okay.
to get to 2032. So anybody thinking otherwise, Gachagua is done, man. I belong from his community, so I know what I'm talking about.
People have always been saying that, Ruto is somebody who is so sincere. No, let me just say, somebody told me one time that, you see, Leo, Ruto is a Christian. He keeps his promises. And that is why the people of Central voted him, because he keeps his promises. So there's no way Ruto can promise Gachagua something and fail to keep it. So I'm surprised you're saying Gachagua is done. And right now, Ruto is trying to gamble between, do I go back to the church, or do I now go back to women?
Okay, can I answer your question?
Yeah.
So how Christian is Christian? That's number one.
Uh-huh.
So we have two criminals here who call themselves Christians. They preach wine, they preach water, but they drink wine. Yeah, both of them, and I'm not afraid to say that, because you can't tell me. I mean, I was just listening to a video of what they do when they're praying, or when they're having a meeting. They do prayers, and then whatever happens between the prayers and the end of the meeting, they do another prayer. But to whatever narcissists, I mean, nasty things that are discussed between the interlude of praying and then the initial prayer and the end of the prayer, it's sort of manifestation of what they believe in. There's no Christianity here. These are crooks. So who are using the word of God? It's actually blasphemous. And look at it. Okay, let me just segue a little bit. Gachagua took Mary Wanjiru, the judge for the High Court, and said he's gonna take her to court. And then what happened? When he was prompted, he said, "No, I'm not gonna do it because I'm a prayerful man." Guess what? Now we are taking him to court because this is somebody who, there's no Christianity here. The thing is, we are dealing with crooks, wheeler dealers, and the only thing they know is to make money.
The only thing they know is to make money.
Yes.
Because, like something even happened yesterday, so funny. And I heard people talking of it. You see, when the president was campaigning, he was among the people who went to this church that belonged to the lady who was supposed to become the governor in Nairobi. Then things changed when there was a negotiation that saw Sakaja being given the ticket, and the lady was sent to go and contest for the senatorial seat, that is the Margaret Wanjiru. You know what happened yesterday when the church was stormed? And people were like, oh, you see, the same president was present, and if he knew this thing was wrong, was he just going there for political purposes? Just let me see the way what he said.
UDA Nairobi Senate candidate Bishop Margaret Wanjiru was on Wednesday afternoon demolished by unknown people claiming to be acting on orders from above. And as NTV's Brian Mushui now reports, Wanjiru is, or rather contends, and is in awe at just how fast the UDA government has turned against her.
The Jesus is Alive Ministries, located along Haile Selassie Avenue in Nairobi, was the recipient of some rather unusual guests. According to Wanjiru, people who are armed to the teeth and who identified themselves as police forced their way into her premises. Wanjiru, who was teary all while this unfolded, admitted to being flabbergasted, astounded, and taken aback by the series of events, lamenting that she was the ruling UDA party's chief campaigner in Nairobi in 2022.
It is sad, very sad, that this is the government that we campaigned for. I'm yet to believe that they can do this to me.
Wanjiru lashed out at President William Ruto, accusing him of giving land grabbers a field day.
That he needs to stop land grabbing in this country. He needs also to respect some of us who campaigned and worked for him, and who pray for him and still work for him.
The woman of the cloth narrated that police clobbered her to an extent of breaking her arm and leg. Wanjiru later on in the day posted these photos of herself in hospital on her social media platforms, showing the extent of the violence meted on her. However,
Revolutions that happened in the church, and these are some of the ladies that were supposed to take over the leadership of the country. And you've heard from her, she was saying that, okay, we campaign for this government, so the president should stop misuse, should respect us. So does it mean that the same will also, like, he will not be able to convince ladies or to convince women that, you see, you people, we want to form a government, sasa hii government itakuwa serikali ya wanawake, and such kind of rhetorics that the president is known of?
It's a conundrum, bro. So let me go back. I hope you can fetch out one video that Orengo, respectable one, that I respect that guy. He told us at one point, you're gonna eat your own. It's like a lion or whatever animal eating its own. Wanjiru is facing the consequences. She's being eaten by her own. So her crocodile tears doesn't make me, I can't even feel anything about her. She campaigned for who? For Ruto. For what? To get a seat. But why? Because she wanted that mantle. Look at what is happening to her now. So, I mean, for her shedding crocodile tears and sending us because you want to be in another church, because that's what she's trying to do, that doesn't make any sense to me. For all that she did, selling a false narrative to Kenyans, let her suffer the consequences. That's all it does. I mean, for every single consequence, there are consequences. That's what she's going through.
Good year is telling me that Bishop Wanjira, I live this year. I don't know what Wanjira means. Maybe he knows it better. I know he'll explain it to me. So I got the video that you are talking of. Let me just play it for you so that maybe people can know these things.
Yeah. Forever, you, my learned friend, not to your neighbor who is next to you, because you need to be candid. When Parliament is dealing with something which is clearly unconstitutional, we should say so. We should not let it pass. But if it passes, even the courts are going to say, was Welcome there, was Sang there, was Kilonzo there, was the Attorney General Emeritus, was he there? Was the Speaker there, who is a legal student, was he there? So I urge you that this bill is only for rejection. And in conclusion, I want to talk to my sister Nyaugenya, Honorable Beth Mugo. We have gone through the trenches with you. You know how, when governments are in power, how they behave. I think probably you can give people on the other side a little education. That sometimes revolutions eat their own children. Yes. Government eats their own people. This government is going to punish you more than they will punish me. I'm telling you, in another 1 year, you will be crying in my office to come and represent you. I know, I can tell you. I've appeared for President Kibaki when he was in the opposition, about laws which were made here. I've appeared for President Uhuru and Vice President Ruto when KANU was going away. When Kibaki was taking away his members and making them ministers, I went to court on their behalf. But now that they're in power, they are forgetting. And power, when power gets into your head, I can tell you, you will never remember that one day there's a bigger power, almighty, that will deal with you.
Said it, and there is one that I was never keen in listening to, where he appeared for Uhuru and the vice president by then when KANU was going away, when Kibaki was taking members of KANU and making them ministers. The same thing that was happening in the just concluded general election, when members of the UDM, the ones who are in Azimio and whatever, were being taken and given some plum jobs in the government. So I didn't know that the guys also had the same challenge when Kibaki was president and somebody had to appear in court for them. So it's so interesting. Yeah? So I now get your point.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what is going on right now. And thanks for playing that video for the public to know the history. Yeah, because I mean, this is exactly what is going on. So Mother Wanjiru should not cry foul here, because she's part of, it's the same thing happening here. And I mean, they are eating their own. So, I mean, let her hold her brief if she can. I don't think she's a lawyer. She can hold her brief in terms of misery after supporting a regime. By the caveat, me, I'm not for support of the Ruto government. So if anybody thinks I do, no, I am not. I'm an Azimio supporter. So whatever happens to Wanjiru, I don't care.
I get you. Just as a Azimio supporter, I'll ask you something, maybe later. And I just want to listen to the speech by one Charity Ngilu. I remember Charity Ngilu have been missing in action. There's a time she was missing in action, but right now, all of a sudden, we saw her coming back to active politics. The same with Alias and Joho. Junet also went silent, but he's now revamping himself ever since we had this thing of the AU and whatever. So the language that they're speaking is a different language, and it's a language that is friendly. When I heard Ngilu speaking today, the language was friendly to the president. So I just want you to hear this and maybe.
They are going to run, increase the number of MCAs, increase the number of, we'll go to the grassroots level, we'll increase the number of women who are there, we'll identify them, they are going to run, increase the number of MCAs, increase the number of women members of parliament, increase the number of women governors, increase the number of all women in their places. And of course, the final seat is the presidential seat. Don't run away from it. Women want it like yesterday. So, Your Excellency, the best you can now do, and I want to ask this for the women in office and out of the office, please help these women to mobilize resources to get to the villages and to ensure that women can be empowered enough. I want to say that I didn't know I was going to be asked to speak, but I'm happy you have given me an opportunity to say something. Governor Sakaja, Nairobi ni yako, lakini sioni wanawake vizuri hapa Nairobi. Tafadhali weka wanawake tuwaone. You cannot talk about he for she and we are not seeing it. You must walk the talk. And I'll be on your case. Your Excellency, and Anu Iguru, please, Governor, be on the President's case and make sure that we keep in on his toes to ensure that we have the numbers. I want to thank you very much for inviting me to say a few words. Please, women, young women governors, shine and shine and shine for Kenya. Asante sana. Thank you.
I can hear Ezesh Mfunyi is telling me that, Leo, don't believe Ruto's lies. If he lied to women, the same women, about diapers, do you think he can give them a deputy position? I think this is just a reminder, because there's a time that even the president told women that in his government, he's going to ensure that we are having 50% of the cabinet secretaries given to women. That one did not happen. He didn't even manage, I think, a third gender rule. So I think many people are agreeing with you, Washira, that you see this
Thank you.
thing cannot happen. It is the president giving promises that he thinks he will not be able to prove.
I mean, this is a guy. Can I just make one statement before
Make
the
it.
moderator you continue, sir?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, there is a guy who is telling us that eventually we are going to have 50-50. Why don't you first just give us the one that gender role in the constitution? It's not there. So I mean, so when you come to the public gallery and pretend like you know many women, sorry, no, not know many women, as in you are very conversant with the augmentations of women and representation, and now that you're preaching because of you went to a G7 meeting of women, and then you want to please them. There's a pleaser. This guy is actually an actor. He's actually a comedian.
He's a comedian.
No, yeah, he is. Now you go to a women's G7 meeting for women, and you're telling them, "Oh yeah, I'll give you what you want." It's the same thing he does in the public streets, on top of his car and or on the rooftop of the car. That's Ruto for you. He'll tell you what you want to hear, and after that, he doesn't care, man. So people listen to this guy at your own demise. Thank you.
I get you. Somebody was just requesting me, just a reminder. If you forgot that the Ruto have been giving women promises, it's not the first time he's doing that. He did it before, and given time, he'll still do it.
To actualize the two-third gender principle. And to put in place mechanisms within the first 3 months of the Kenya Alliance government, and ensure that this two-third gender principle is actualized immediately the mechanism is in place, and that it doesn't have to wait until the next general election. On leadership again, I commit on behalf of Kenya Kwanza Alliance that we shall allocate 50% of all cabinet positions to the women of Kenya. Additionally, I commit that we will ensure that the Public Service Commission in all its recruitment and all government agencies, commissions, parastatals, and other government agencies shall strictly observe the two-third gender rule. Economic empowerment. I, William Samoei Ruto, on behalf of Kenya Kwanza Alliance, do hereby commit that 50% of the 50 billion Hustler Fund shall be ring-fenced towards women-owned enterprises. I also commit to actualize access to government procurement opportunities by ensuring that women-owned enterprises will automatically qualify for the LPO financing through the Hustler Fund without any other conditions.
And the people clap.
You just
People clap.
buttress my point. Jeez.
Yeah. That was it.
I mean, you just buttress my point, the moderator, because this, I mean, whoever doesn't see, if you don't want to hear, don't hear.
Yeah.
It's your problem. But that's, I love the way you played that, because now somebody is even telling you it is going to be 50%. And then now he comes back here telling the G7 women that I'm going to make sure 100% of women are going to. What the heck is wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
He's a damn liar. And whoever doesn't know that, just stay with it.
And this is what happened a few months after the promise. This is what Kenyans who are promised had to ask for.
Representatives. Now they want him to keep his promise of getting more women into politics.
A significant dividend of our electoral and democratic process is the tremendous achievement we made in breaking the glass ceiling by enhancing the participation of women in leadership.
Ruto is not the only one celebrating victory. Susan Kihika was recently elected the first female governor of Kenya's populous Nakuru County. The lawyer is one of the record number of women appointed in the August election.
Very many women were elected. It's not very many when you think about it. Like, I'm not talking about 50% of women were elected, but so much more than we've seen before.
Kenya's number of female governors has more than doubled, while the number of female parliamentarians jumped by nearly a third. But that's still only 15% and 23% respectively. A clause in Kenya's 2010 constitution says no more than 2/3 of any elected body can be comprised of one gender. It has never been fulfilled. Now Kihika and others are calling on Ruto to make good on his campaign pledge of upholding that clause.
In some counties, even for the jockeys, even for the seats reserved for women rep, like they elect 0 women, and they even say if it wasn't clear that the seat reserved for women representatives is for women, they would vote in men. Like, I hope you get, how crazy that is.
Kihika said that women are also deterred from running because they face abuse and physical assault on the campaign trail. She's calling for better protections. Ruto was the only one of 4 presidential candidates whose running mate was not a woman. However, he has also pledged to appoint women to half of his cabinet.
News is also bringing it clear that out of the people who contested, the 3 candidates, it's only William Ruto whose running mate was not a woman. We had Raila having Martha Karua, and we had Wajakoya having Wamai as the running mate. So it's only Ruto who did not have a woman running mate. But now he realized that maybe that is what denied women a chance to become a deputy president. So had he picked a woman running mate, then this issue would have been sorted.
So, Ruto, I'll say one thing here. And I keep on saying some people are not going to, it's not palatable to some people here. Yeah, Ruto is a transactional, he's not a leader. To me, he's not. He's just a transactional merchant. So what he's doing now, he's getting away with Rigiji. Reason why? He got what he wanted from Rigiji, from money, funding, and everything else. So what is Ruto looking for? He's looking now for the woman vote. And he'll do that. I mean, that guy knows how to play his politics. And he will go down. So go ahead.
He's now going for the female vote. Huh?
Yes. Already, he disabused Mount Kenya. So let's come from there. Mount Kenya is disabused and abused, and he's done with that. So, okay, that's a different subject, but I just wanted to put things in context. After that,
no, it's okay. It's also related to this because when Ruto is promising a woman deputy president, remember that Gachagwa is there and he considers himself as a kingpin or somebody who is representing the votes from the Mount Kenya. So this one will also lead us to the next question. Shall Ruto go ahead and maybe actualize the threat to have a woman deputy president? What is the position of Gachagwa and what is the position of Mount Kenya? Will this woman come from Mount Kenya, or where is he going to shop this woman from?
A good question, very good one. So this is what is going to happen. Ruto, I told you, is a merchant and is transactional. And so what is going to happen for Ruto to go back to Mount Kenya? He has to hold the Mount Kenya votes again, because now he has lied enough to Mount Kenya. You can see the applause, the uproars that are happening in Mount Kenya right now because of taxes and everything else. Yeah, so avocado, you're taxing even avocados and everything else. So what he has to do now, what he's trying to do is get Gachagua out of the way. You give me the money, I go to my seat, that's fine. So now what do I do? So Ruto is fishing around for a Mount Kenya candidate, a woman who will fulfill. Now he's now gonna come and sell this narrative of, oh yeah, I have fulfilled the one that gender rule. That narrative that is now started selling, which is silly, and people will buy it. But then
Do you think
remember,
Kenyans are going to buy that? Does it mean Kenyans don't learn?
no, they don't. They do not.
Get it?
So
And
the thing
that
that's
will
going
be
to happen is Ruto has a plan B. That's what people do not understand about this guy. Ruto has already gone to Nyanza and is already. Can I speak Swahili here?
It's okay. It's allowed. Yes.
Yeah, chokora Nyanza already. Akona na Kirende. He has a grouping that he has already. That's why he's going to Homa Bay every single other day.
Yes.
And then we have where? Western.
Western ameweka sasa, anataka Western ikue kama Central. Like
Yes.
he now wants to place himself as the kingpin of Western. He's
Yes.
the one who is now wants to. He don't want people to go to the Mudavadis and the Wetangulas and the Halwales. He now wants from Western to go to him directly, the way people used to go to Mo. He's the patron over there.
Exactly. Yeah. So Mount Kenya is out of the equation right now. It's actually now Mount Kenya was, the way. Sorry, no, I'm not going to use that. Mount Kenya was used and abused. So Ruto doesn't care about Mount Kenya anymore. It's now Western to be used and abused, and quote Nyanza. Nyanza is actually the next frontier. That's why he keeps on going to Nyanza every single day. So I suspect, actually, to your point, let me answer you. To your point, if he's gonna appoint anybody who is a lady, it's gonna be from Nyanza or Western. Nyanza or Western, not Central.
And people can already see it. I don't know if I'm the one who is looking at politics differently. Whenever the president goes to Nyanza, there is a kind of a certain attention that is given to the Homa Bay governor. There is I can say there's a systematic a plan to make her appear to be doing more than the rest. if you look at some of the activities that he attends there, most of them are development activities. And these activities, he's gone there severally. He praised her, and they've tried to portray her as somebody who is really working, and any female governor should borrow from her. Remember, we are having female governors who are even serving their second term, like Anne Waiguru. We are having Barire there. We are having a governor in Nakuru. We are having a governor in Meru. This one was impeached severally. So I don't know if you are also reading what somebody is also reading, that maybe somebody said that he might go to Nyanza, and so that he's not seen as somebody who is going to lure or the people in Nyanza, then he wants to pull a different card to be seen as somebody who is going for a lady. And he will tell Kenyans that, you see, when Gladys was a governor, you saw what she managed to do then. Could it be something like that?
No, bro, you have a very good point there. And this is called in politics. I'm not a politician.
Yeah.
But what you're saying makes a lot of sense. So it's mixing the waters. In political science, I have learned a little bit of it. Political science means you go to Nyanza, which is where Raila comes from, because Raila can galvanize that. You know, Nyanza, I mean, we all know that's Raila's, bedrock. So he's going to go to Nyanza and say, you know what? Gladys Wanga is I'm not sure. I think it's going to be her second term, right?
Yeah, it's going to be her second term.
Yes. Now, look at it this way. Now, Gladys Wanga, second term, Gladys Wanga is going to be my running mate. What do you think that would do to the Ruo Nyanza nation?
Yeah.
It's done.
But right now, when you look at the president, people are seeing him in different ways. Apart from the female card, the inroads that he's making in Nyanza and in Western, people are saying there's a possibility he can pick a running mate in Western and still net Nyanza votes in his net. How is he going to do it? He will ensure that he is seen as the only person who is pushing for Raila's AU candidature, so that by the time Raila gets it through, then he will come and tell the people of Nyanza, look, I made Baba the president of Africa.
That's
now, why can you people murudishe mkono? Then he goes to Western and tell them, you people, because the numbers that Western are having, they're having a huge number. It's just a matter of putting them together and tell them that, look, I want to take one of your own to be number 2. So it will be sad if one of your own is number 2 and you don't vote in one basket. Then the only person who've been dividing the votes of Western, the only person Westerners have been voting outside Western has been Raila Odinga. So a scenario where Raila is not in the ballot and somebody from Western is the deputy president, don't you see Western voting as a block to the last man? Then Nyanza also buying the idea. Where does that one leave Central? Do we go back to what you're telling me, that Central imechokoro ikaribika kabisa?
So there are two elements here, bro. The moderator. Yeah. This is a formal thing. So there are two things here that you just mentioned that I would want to. I said I'm not a political scientist, but I have played this politics for quite a while.
For long,
Number
you have
one,
some ideas.
Yeah. Number one, already, just we know that Central has been sidelined. I told you I come from Central. So, and I follow the Central politics quite succinctly. So the thing Central is doing is we are putting ourselves together now. We have been used and disabused. That's one.
Yes.
Yeah, if you follow politics of Central, you hear this Kamwene and everything else. I'm part of that. We are putting ourselves together to tell people now, you can't do this to us anymore. That's part one. Part two, okay, Raila goes to, you mentioned something about, Western.
Yeah.
Because I have gotten somebody from Raila. Number one, we are not even sure that Raila is going to get the AU job, correct?
Yeah.
We are not sure. Now already we have somebody who is they are running against Raila. Is it Somalia? Somali.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not a done deal. So why would you think that Raila is not in the game in 2027? That's number one. That people are assuming so many things here. Raila is still in this game. And if Raila is in this game, people are going to be surprised. And now everybody has realized what Ruto did. You know, once beaten, twice shy. People need to understand that. Yeah, so for Ruto to think that he can mess around with, Nyanza, I'm still sure, is still, of course, Nyanza is Raila's backyard.
Yeah.
Then we go to Central. Central, Ruto is messed up. That's what I'm sure. So, I mean, his strongholds are going in the Western. I mean, it's that's a split mentality, in the sense that, I mean, I don't want to be tribal here, but we know how Western works. So Ruto has a hard work to work, and that's his tilt, and I can say that comfortably.
Also see Goodia is also backing you that Raila is not going anywhere. Raila is still behind the scenes active in Kenyan politics. And if you did follow the ODM recruitment that took place in Wajir, there's some sentiments that were made that will tell you that Raila might still give it a sixth trial. So maybe I don't know if I'll get the exact words, but I can be able to look at some of the points.
Wacha la kwanza kabisa nishukuru gavana wenu. Gavana, wakati nilikuwa nakuja pande hii, nilikuwa na rafiki yangu Yusuf, nikaonyeshwa hospitali ile unaenda pale, nikashangaa sana. Ni hospitali ya kimataifa. Na hiyo ni ishara ya kwamba devolution inaweza fanya kazi. Lazima tushukuru Baba Raila Amolo Odinga kwa kutuletea ile kitu tunaita devolution. Jambo la muhimu ni kwamba serikali kuu, ile serikali iko Nairobi, lazima hakikishe pesa yote ambayo inastahili ije hapa chini imekuja. Ndiyo gavana wenu afanye kazi kamili akiwa na pesa ya kutosha. Wangapi wameunga hiyo mkono? Hatutaki pesa mingi ibaki kule Nairobi, ili hali kazi yao Nairobi ni kuiba tu, ni kupora mali ya wananchi. Pesa ikija hapa mashinani, kazi yake inaonekana. Si namna hiyo? La pili, mimi nawashukuru wananchi wa Wajir. Kule bungeni mmetuletea washujaa, wabunge wa eneo hili ambao wako katika bunge la kitaifa. Tukianza na dada yangu Jeho, rafiki yangu Yusuf wa Wajir West, Wajir North, yeye pia ni mwanachama kamili. Kwa hivyo sisi tuna furaha.
Sasa nataka kualika deputy party leader ya ODM ambaye alikuwa gavana ya Mombasa, anaitwa Hassan Ali Joho.
Aya. Wajir, assalamu alaikum. Ile karatasi umeleta nimeweka kwa mfuko, siwezi tupa, baadaye sawa. Mimi nataka munisikize kwa makini sana, kwa sababu nimesikia mengi yamesemwa na mengi yameendelea kusemwa, sivyo? Mimi nataka tuzungumze Raila Amolo Odinga ni nani? Umeelewa? Mimi naona kuna watu wanamwongea kiolelaolela, kuna watu wanamwongea kinini kiolela. Nataka niwaambie, wataka watambue kwamba Raila Amolo Odinga ni kiongozi wa kimataifa, sivyo? Na ana haki ya kuzungumza siasa ya Kenya, siasa ya East Africa, siasa ya Afrika, siasa ya dunia pia. Si namna hiyo? Si ametosha? Si ametosha? Pia nataka niseme kitu chengine cha muhimu sana. Watu wamezungumza mambo ya kurithi Raila Amolo Odinga. Watu wamezungumza mambo ya nini? Kurithi Raila Amolo Odinga. Ile mimi nataka kusema hapa kama Hassan Ali Joho, ile kitu ambaye mimi narithi kwa Raila Amolo Odinga is the ideology ambaye amenifundisha kwa miaka yangu ya siasa, mawazo, mienendo, mwelekeo na uthabiti na ujasiri na usimba wa siasa. Si ndio? Si ndio? Watu wajue baba hakuna mali anaenda. Baba anaenda hadi, si ndio? Si huyu baba ni life member wa ODM. Si ndio member number 1 wa maisha wa ODM nani? Raila Amolo, na atabaki kuwa katika chama cha ODM. Ile kitu ambayo nataka niseme ya muhimu hapa, watu ya Wajia, nataka niwaulize, mnataka kuingia serikali ya mtaki 2027? Mnataka mtaki? Kama mnataka mnionyeshe na mkono namna hii. Mimi nataka niwaambie hapa mchana, usiku na mapema, watu waelewe serikali inayokuja mwaka wa 2027 ni serikali ya ODM, na mambo ni mawili ama matatu pia, lakini ya muhimu ni mawili. Kama si Raila Amolo Odinga basi ni Hassan Ali Joho. Si namna hiyo? Mimi mtu ambaye naweza ondokea bila kuuliza maswali wala bi ni Raila Amolo. Lakini hao wengine, mimi na ndugu zangu kina Oparani tutapambana kidogo kinyumbani, alafu baadaye tutaamua, si ndio hiyo? Si ndio hiyo? Lakini chama ambaye haina wafuasi haiwezi kusonga mbele. Tumekubaliana? Wanawajia, mtajiandikisha kwa chama cha ODM? Mtajiandikisha? Ya mwisho, sitaki kusema sana kwa sababu baba ataongea hapa. Mimi nataka niwaambie, mimi kama Hassan Ali Joho, tangu niingie siasa, siasa, hakuna uamuzi wa kisiasa nilifanya bila kumhusisha, kumjulisha na kuelepata.
You've heard Joho have confirmed it, that Raila is not going anywhere.
Yeah. It's very true. It's only a fool who think Raila is a need. No, Raila is not going anywhere. This message
is not only meant to maybe members of ODM, but also the affiliate parties of Azimio, because Joho have said, number one, the next government will be formed by ODM. And he said in ODM, if it is not Raila, then he will go for it. Then secondly, he also he knows very well that there's Azimio. He said that chama ambayo haina wafuasi. Could it be that they've started preparing for the 2027? And so, Raila is going nowhere. Yes.
Leo, let me just say this. My small analysis. There are two things people here need to understand. There's somebody called, I'll take you back to what has happened in the recent past. No, in the recent 1 year.
Yeah.
And that 1 year has been, there are so many shenanigans. So, okay, let me take you back. I mean, if you win, give me 5 minutes.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, you've seen what happened when Raila was, the news came out that, Raila is going to be the AO chairman. Number one. Who was behind that? Uhuru Kenyatta was there.
Yeah.
But he never appeared. What did they do to Uhuru Kenyatta? These guys always work together. Number two, by the time we get to right now, I don't know how to put it in, I would rather, as in the mat has been laid out.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is there's Uhuru here, there's Raila here, and then there's Jubilee and ODM. Those two parties are going to come back together.
Okay.
So there's Kioni. If you see Kioni, what he's doing, they have fought him to death. But who is behind Kioni is Uhuru. So that party, and why was UDA fighting Jubilee? Another different story, because they know this is a firefighter party.
Yeah.
So one thing is going to happen here between now and before we get to 2027, I believe ODM and Jubilee are still going to come together again. That somebody can take it to the bank. And
Get you.
And after that, there
Yeah.
is, and that's why Ruto did whatever the shenanigans. I tell people do not realize we are dealing with a criminal here. When Ruto decided to buy parliamentarians, he knew what he was doing. But now we know better. That's not gonna. That's why they put that in NADOC report that this is gonna have to be put in the amendments of the constitution. You cannot be kama we ni malaya, tembea man, tembea kubwa kubwa. Yeah. So we're gonna have to put that, and once we do that, we do away with that. Then whoever wants to move around here by 2027 will be fine.
I get you very well. You're saying by 2027 you'd have revived yourself and you will be fine and fit to go. And another confirmation that have been given by Joho that Raila is not going anywhere, and they're still ready to form the government. And you see, on the other end, Gachagwa is also a worried man, because there's ever since politics about also reading some body movement and activities. So the body movement have been positive towards that is between the Kenya Kwanza and Raila and such kind of things. Though people are saying that kind of support is not a sincere support, but it's a support that people need to think twice. We've seen them. And this one also tells you that, okay, however much maybe this other side is wanajipanga, the UDA pia wanajipanga. Could it be what worries them that they think that they also need to change some strategy so that they can be able to make it back in 2027? I think we're going to look at that. I can see I'm also joined by Angie. Angel, karibu sana. Maybe what we are discussing is ODM and Raila are still there. They're not going anywhere. We thought that Raila is going to AU, and maybe come 2022, it will be a walkover for President William Ruto when he'll be going to vote for his second term. What is your opinion on that, Angela?
My opinion is, I think Raila bado anapima Sakayo roho yake, anapima Sakayo akili yake, bado hajaamua kabisa anaenda AU ama anabaki Kenya. Naona ni kama bado ako 50-50. Nanisikia?
Bado Raila ako 50-50. Yeah, nakusikiza. Na ako 50 inamaanisha
bado ako
akikosa kwenda AU. Akikosa kwenda AU bado. Je, unadhani Raila ako na nafasi ya kuwania urais na akuwe na nguvu jinsi alikuwa nayo ile uchaguzi uliopita? Maanake watu wanasema kama ile ingine aliweza kuchezwa ama iliweza kwenda jinsi ilivyoenda, hii wakati mwingine na huyu mwenye alimcheza ndio ameshikilia kila kitu, ataweza kweli?
Ataweza, ana nafasi kubwa sana na ataweza. Hiyo wakati mwingine alimshinda kwa sababu hawakukuwa wamejua avocado inawekwa tax.
Umejua avocado inawekwa tax. Lakini Angela, ile wakati mwingine hii pande nyingine aliambia watu utawapatia 6,000, hamtakuwa mnalipa school fee, lakini wale upande mwingine hawakuambiwa avocado. Proceed, Angie. That's a funny one. Huh?
Unstable.
This is a funny one.
Acha nikwambie,
Yes.
Mount Kenya wanataka mtu ana protect their commodities, mwenye anawatafutia soko ya vitu zao, si kuwasambaratisha na si kuwafilisisha na si uingie kwa mifuko zao sana, wenye ameingia na si SHIF, si KRA, si nini, si housing levy. Hizo zote Mount Kenya watabadilika na watageuka. Tuko hapa na wewe, nataka umark siku ya leo ya kwamba Gachagwa Mount Kenya atafukuzwa 2027, atafukuzwa kama umbwa na atafukuzwa kama takataka.
Angie, can I jump in kidogo just to tell the moderator here that that's true. I told the moderator that
Na
exact same one. Thank you.
Na Mount Kenya ndio inakuanga nini? I think ni hao ndio wako na uzito wa kura. Una understand?
Angie is breaking. So, Washira, you wanted to jump in with something, eh? You wanted to support or maybe respond to Angie's comments over there.
Yeah. I mean, allow me to. Angie just said something very important. Gachagua ashapatikana. And why? Because he lied. Number one, alituambia kahawa itaanguka. He went all around Kirinyaga, Embu, Meru, and a section of Muranga na Kiambu, just trying to preach that price ya kahawa sijui nini. Right now, when Uhuru was there, and by there I don't hold brief for Uhuru. It's just that I like the guy as a guy. But tulikuwa tunanunua kilo ya kahawa 120. Saa hii inanunua 60. Haya macadamia, it was being bought at 160. Saa hii ni 40. Yeah, my parents do that. I'm not mimi sitakangi kuongea vitu zingi. My parents come from, you can go and fetch them where they are. They're in Karatina. And now macadamia, I had to plant my macadamia. And now today, my mother is now fetching. Actually, kuna mtu mmoja alicheza. No, I don't want to go there, but alituambia vizuri sana. You are being bought a kilo 20 shillings. That's macadamia. Milk, maziwa inamwagwa Kiambu. Na hii nyang'au, allow me to use that word. Hii nyang'au inaitwa Gachagua hapa. The only business he has ati ni kuzunguka the whole country telling people tufunge pombe. Si tuanze kukunywa chai basi. That was my word.
Goodyear is telling us that we should never assume that only one tribe has votes, not each and every of them votes. Do you agree with that? And he's also saying that Raila promised a lot which is not real and practical.
The way I can answer this question is on one way. Okay, not every tribe has votes. But he said, okay, that's a comment. So can somebody just enumerate for me why everybody always goes to Mount Kenya for votes? That's number one. Number two, So when you say not every tribe has votes, what do you mean? Because in Mount Kenya, I can enumerate for that person out of my head. I don't even have statistics here. We do have, I mean, from top of my head, it's 3 million votes. Who does not want 3 million votes? No any other region. It's proven in Kenya that if you don't have those 3 million votes from Mount Kenya, then you are going nowhere. So whoever is commenting that, honestly, tell them to go back to history. It's known.
I think Angie is back, and it's always been that in the Kenyan matrix, it's always been that if you have the central, and maybe you only need a Kalenjin, then that is done. Or if you have the central, you only need Luo, and that is done. Look at 202 elections. Look at what happened in 207. In 207, it was a bit different. We had Kalenjins and the other side. Look at 2017, 2017. Could it be that there is some fact that when it comes to the electoral powerhouse, Mount Kenya cannot be wished away? Being that, not that they're the majority, we know, according to the last census, they're not the majority, but what happens is the way or the manner in which they normally come out to vote. These are community whereby if you look at, they get out to vote. Almost everybody goes out to vote. And people are also seeing a scenario whereby if you want to deny the Mount Kenya that entitlement, then you remove Raila out of the ballot. If Raila is not there, then it's likely that even some of them will not vote, because somebody said that in Central, you either wake up, actually in Kenya, you either wake up to go and vote Raila or to vote Raila out. So I can see Angie's back. She dropped, I think it was because of some connections. So Angela, you can proceed if you can hear me.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You're now loud and clear.
Okay, nilikuwa nakwambia, wakati umekuwa unasema Mount Kenya, when they say they are going to vote, even a Form 3 student has an voting. So they vote as a block.
Okay.
Na wanavote wanatoka, wanamaanisha ni nini wanataka. That's why Mountain has been a threat. But it does not mean that Mountain wako wengi. No. Ni wao hutoka. Lakini sisi watu wengine tunakuanga na mzaa kwa kupiga kura. Tuna hiyo ujinga, tuna ile upumbavu, hatutoki. Mountain, you will find even an old man, an old woman, hana macho, lakini anaenda kupiga kura. You understand? And once when you touch Mountain normally wants a person who will protect their property, their wealth, who will give them a way for how to access the business. You understand? Akipanda waru zake anauza, anapata access ya market. Akipanda mishiri zake anauza, anapata access ya market. Si kama sisi huko kwetu Western, hata miwa usipokatiwa uko tu pale. No. Mountain ni watu wako focused, ni watu wanajua ni nini wanatafuta. You understand? And that's why kitu kimoja ni just imagine ile nini yenye Kindiki alikuwa anasoma jana. How many people from Mountain wenye basa hizi imefungwa? You want to tell me come 2027 that person same person will go and vote for Ruto? I'm telling you that's a big lie. They have opened their minds. Now they are seeing the true pictures of who is Ruto, who is Gachagwa, who is Kindiki. Like the way I normally say, sisi Waluya hatuna mtu. Mnaona kaa ninadanganya na sema uongo.
Eti nini Waluya hamna mtu?
Sasa unaonanga kaa tuko na Wetangula na Musalia. Hawa si watu.
Mukola papa wa Roma. Angela, what do you
Papa,
mean?
I mean business. What is papa wa Roma? Kuinamia mtu mwenye hana mwelekeo. Mtu mwenye hata haezi. Since nisikie papa wa Roma when he was an MP before the constitution, before that was Bungoma large, igawanyike in constituencies zingine hizi. What does nini baba wa Roma amefanya? Nothing.
Baba wa Roma right
Bungoma
now is the third
even
in
Bungoma
command.
kumejengwa
Hear people saying
barabara
so.
after. Yeah?
Papa wa Roma is the third in command. And remember, Busia, not Busia, but Bungoma is lucky. The last speaker of the Senate was also from Bungoma, the former and the current governor.
Those are the people misleading lawyers. Those are the people that making Luya land to be poor and poorer and poorer. And that's why tuko tunahangaikia Nairobi kama takataka wenye hatuna mwelekeo. Those are the people. Papa wa Roma, Musalia Mudavadi, sijui Wangamati, sijui Lusaka. Those are the criminals, biggest criminals in Bungoma.
Bashira, there's
You understand?
this question that
If Papa wa
Can
Roma,
I just ask, Annie, where are you based?
yeah. Proceed.
Annie, where are you based?
Oh, Angela, where are you based?
Nairobi.
Nairobi. Okay. Yeah. No. You are the most sane mind I have had in Nairobi. Yeah. I'm in the US, but yeah, it's so good to hear. I mean, somebody speaking like that the way you're doing. So yeah, moderator. Yeah, I just wanted to know because I'm gonna contact Angie in a different forum. That's fine.
Yeah,
Maggie, I'm gonna look out for you in a different forum.
Yeah, there's a forum. I think we are having that WhatsApp group. I'll add you over there.
Yeah,
You'll
please
just
do.
get my contact on the private section there. Then I'll add you over there.
Yeah, please do.
Wachira, I just wanted to ask you a single question. Yeah, you come from Central. That is true. You might not be voting there. You might be voting elsewhere.
No, I vote. I always vote. Moderator, please. I do. I always vote.
I'm not saying you don't vote. You vote, but you might not be voting in Central. For example, there are people who come from Central. They vote in Western. You vote in US. There are people who come from Central. They vote in Nairobi. So you might not be voting the MPs and the MCs there, but I'm pretty sure you are in contact. You have contact with the people who vote over there. So do you think there's an argument here that somebody voting from Central, the only motivation that makes them to vote is Raila Odinga? Because most people wake up to go and vote Raila out. Do you think in the absence of Raila Odinga in the ballot, we are going to see people making some fine decisions and you're going to see some changes in the voting block?
That is very true, Leo. Let me tell you, there are some people who stand, wanasema huyu ni mzee ni muganga, huyu ni mchawi. They use that language for Raila to win the votes. You understand me?
I get you.
Huyu mzee ni muganga, tangu asimame, anaangukanga tu, analianga tu, anaendanga tu kotini. That language only makes somebody to pass and to be there.
I think
voted.
that language, that kind of phobia was done within the last general election. For the first time, Raila got people from the mountain, over 1 million voted somebody who was not supported by maybe majority of them. And we saw it. The last election, something amazing happened. More than 1 million votes came from Mount Kenya and it went to Raila, the person they say they've never been voting. So tell me, that one has never happened. I think the phobia is fading away. Does it mean we are having a new generation of voters who now have lived those kind of myths? And moving forward, that is why even Gachagwa is so worried that he keeps on talking of the mountain needs to unite.
Ni watu wanafunguka akili. Wanaona. Me leo I've been to Gatundu, where President Uhuru comes from. I tell you, when you go to that place, utapata walevi saa mbili ya asubuhi wamama wako na majembe wanaenda kutafuta. And you see that is the area that produces the every. Uko kwa nani kwa Uhuru mimi nimekaa like 2 years.
Okay.
You understand? So I think there are now the mountain are thinking and changing their minds that we have been having president all these years, and the development we are having when we compare to other counties counties are better than us. In fact, of late when I was in Shaweri, barabara iko tu na maboromoko na mabonde na inaenda kwa kina Uhuru Kenyatta. You understand? Now ndio watu wanatoa president.
No, kutoa president, you don't do it. The president is not the president of a region, Roko. I think that one should also be known, that the president is not a president for a region or a specific community. Rather, the president is the president of the entire country.
At least
when we have the president, all our roads will be good, because the president should serve people equally.
This is the thinking. The thinking is that wanafikiria at least ukiwa na rais atatengeneza kabarabara, atatengeneza kitu fulani, atatengeneza kitu fulani. You understand? We shall not suffer a lot. We shall have some companies. You understand? At least hiyo maskini iwatoke. Lakini unapata you have the president and you are just the same situations. Unaona hii pombe yenye wanasema inaua watu. Huko hizo ndio zinachemshwa. Mama alijitolea, hiyo ndio biashara anafanya, asomeshe watoto, at least alishe watoto. You understand? Hivyo. So unapata like wamefika mahali wameona hata hii kitu haina maana. Afadhali iende kwingine, labda kuna kwingine na yeye atafanya nini? Atatuangalia na kamacho kauruma. Apart from kukuanga tu na hii maisha yenye tuko. Like the way I'm telling you that Papa wa Roma ni nini amefanya lakini Bungoma alafu anataka kujiita yeye ndiye the Luya Kingpin. Hakuna kitu. Unakuwa kingpin na nini? With what? Umesimamisha nini? Instead ya kusimamisha all the companies that have been in Western, Nzoia ili collapse. Western Nzoia West Kenya ina collapse. It is standing because it's a private. Na huyo muhindi amewashinda akili. You understand? Mumias collapse. Why could these Western leaders come together as a region and then waseme sisi tunataka president atufanyie hii. Mumias itafufuka, Nzoia itafufuka, Chemelil itafufuka, kampuni kadhaa zitafufuka. Mimi nitabaki kulima miwa na kahawa huko nyumbani. Sitashinda kukuja kungangania maisha Nairobi. Nakuja kungangania maisha Nairobi because hata kahawa yenye unalima wewe mkulima unapata kwota. Serikali na hao watu wengine wanakula 3/4. Wewe ndio mkulima. So then you call yourself over the Papa wa Roma, you are a kingpin. Be a kingpin with the matendo. Not a kingpin.
Can I ask a question here? Can I ask a question here to Angel? Angel.
Okay.
You have a very wonderful idea.
Go ahead.
And going, I mean, this is how I look at it. Angel is very particular. Angel, why don't you, when there, home, utengeneze tu project moja mbili, ama uchukue watoi. Let's say, for example, I'll give an example, quick fast. Mimi niko na watoi 5. Si ati niko na domop. Na hao watoi, mimi nilileta watu watoi na wasomesha sahi. Why don't you just take a small project? I use that example to just demonstrate what I'm trying to do, just to elevate the society. Chukua any project. Then nyangao, because me now nyangao. Me, I don't respect my politicians. I don't. So uchukue project moja, ukianza kuifanya hivi wataingililia na watakuja kuambia enjoy. Hapana, wacha tukubaliane tufanye hii kazi pamoja. Otherwise, I mean, we are not going to go anywhere. Does that make sense? Enjoy.
I think it makes sense.
So to make project is not a problem, na hawatakuja kukusaidia ng'o. Usiwahi tengeneza project ukidhania wanakuja kukusaidia. If I think so, if hata by the way, I was just thinking of going back home nitafute kitu cha kufanya nikiwa nyumbani, because nimeona huyu governor if hatabadilisha mawazo, if hatabadilisha akili, akiwa na hiyo uongozi atakuwa yenye ameanza nayo, kama hatafika mahali akuwe tycoon na atembea, at least you can go home and make something. Ile shida ya watu wetu ni wanapokuona umeenda nyumbani umeanzisha kitu, wanaona you will be a star in the village, so wanatafuta mbinu ya kukuchimba uanguke, so that hauwezi fanya nini, hauwezi simama. You understand?
Yeah.
So
I get it.
Mimi nimewahi kuwa mkulima wa miwa, nimewahi kuwa mkulima wa kahawa, lakini same leaders hawa ndio wenye wanaleta marketer, wanaambia marketer fanya hivi, enda ununue na shilingi fulani, pesa fulani ni yetu. That is a leader. Are you promoting or you are demoting your village, your people?
Enjo, let me ask you, what do you do as your, I mean,
as a living, me by the mean hustle tu, na side hustle to business, nikipata kakazi nimeenda kufanya. Anyway, sijulikani hata sometimes hata nakosa time ya kurest.
Enjo, let's do this. Okay, this is not the right forum to discuss this. I'm gonna WhatsApp you. We discuss about this because you have a very good idea, very good mindset, which is the same thing I normally do. I know your frustrations because I have faced the same, but I continue doing the same thing. So, no, I'll talk you on. You may attend the congregation. You may attend.
Namuona Honorable Vincent pia ameingia hapa. Vincent, karibu sana. I think we've discussed a lot of things. We started by asking ourselves a question: is Kenya ready for a deputy president? I hope you up to date with what happened today in the G7 summit, whereby the president hinted at making it maybe a compulsory in UDA that if you are having a presidential candidate who is a male, then the running mate should be a female. So the question that we are asking today is: Kenya ready for a female deputy president and to an extension a female president?
Good evening, Leo and Washira. I have not seen you guys for quite some time, especially you, Leo. I have not seen you for some time. I hope you've been okay. I'm fine too, and I've been following the conversation behind the scenes. And I heard Washira's contribution that was very, very nice. I think on the question you just asked, that's a very, very simple question that I will answer in two ways. The first way I'll answer that is by saying that the remarks that the president made in the morning were deliberate. Let me say they were deliberate in a way that he knows that in 2027, without the support of the woman or the mother or the women in Kenya, it's going to be a little uphill task to get the second term. So he's doing the very deliberate move, as Washira said earlier, that so that as we draw near to 2027, the women feel inclusive in the government. The women feel like the president is caring for them. The women will feel like the president is on their side, as he's always been. So, saying that are we ready for a woman deputy president? I don't think in 2027 we are going to see that, but in 2032 we might even see Kikuyu Luo candidate with the president, a male maybe from Mount Kenya, and a female Luo as a deputy, and maybe a prime minister from the Kalenjin nation, and maybe the cake be distributed to other places.
Maybe
But
just as you proceed, you're talking about prime minister. Are you trying to hint that you're going to have a different constitution that is going to allow that?
Everything is now possible because from the way we can see the president scheming, William Ruto is one person I've always termed as a schemer, and this guy does something without even people realizing the thing is done. He might already even have initiated something that Kenyans are not even aware. So we can't say that is not a possibility, but there is a very high probability that we might even have a little changes in the constitution of Kenya to fix some people into such positions, so that in 2027, when he's going to cut the cake to other regions this time around, even we get the prime minister in the ballot, we get maybe 2 deputies in the ballot also, so that he can accommodate so many people into his government. If maybe he has post 2027, post 2032 vision, that is the time when he needs to do that, and he has to put his team in order after 2027. So I think the next 3 years is going to be critical, and you can see the president is one person who meticulously plan, and when he plans, he never misses. So that's one of the things that I'm going to anticipate to see in the next few days. But the woman deputy president, we are not going to see that in 2027 yet. But we are going to see somebody like Anne Waiguru get a very powerful position in government, and maybe that's a little prediction that I can make about the question you just asked.
But even hata huyo na leo jana Gladys Sholei alisema gender walisema to that gender in government, alisema hiyo ni plani ya 2027. After election is when we'll sit back in parliament and discuss about gender, 2/3 gender in government. So meaning itakuwa discussed 2027, then iwekwe kwa program, then 2032 is when utapata mwanamke amewekwa kama deputy president, deputy governor, such a things. You understand? So hii kitu yenye Ruto anafanya saa hii ni alitafuta mama mboga, na mama mboga saa hii imekuwa lawama. Akatafuta mtu wa bodaboda saa hii imekuwa ni lawama, maana alimudanganya, hakutekeleza yale aliahidi. So ameona mbinu mwafaka kutafuta huyu mwanamke tena, juu wanawake we are easily convinced. Naona sisi tunadanganywanga haraka sana. Ni kusema hata mwanamke anaenda kupewa kiti mahali wakati wa kupiga kura. So that's why anataka kutudanganya wanawake, juu anajua wanawake ndio wengi. Najua wanawake ndio wanapiga kura sana kwa hii Kenya. So anatumia hiyo lugha kutafuta kura ya 2027. It is not that 2027 we shall be endorsing a woman as a deputy president. Hiyo hakuna. Get me right. Hiyo hakuna. He's just using that language.
Can I say something here? Can I say something here?
Sema.
Can I say something here?
Sema.
Yes, Washira, go ahead.
I'm just adding to my sister's point, because she's so right. Ruto and moderator, remember we spoke about this before the forum got the whole participants, right? Yeah. What my sister is saying is so true. Ruto sasa anataka kutumia wanawake. And when I say wanawake, I respect women. So yeah, that's what the bastard is trying to do, and that one I'm not going to say whatever.
Let me ask you, Washira. Let me ask you a question. Who are the people that made Ruto president in 2022?
Women.
Yeah. So how is he going to use them again? Because they voted for him.
No.
Tumia lugha ya mama mboga, mtu wa chini, mama mjane anaenda kuimarika maana alijua wamama wajane wanatu biashara twa utumboga, tumatunda, ukienda Marikiti, ukienda Kikomba, understand? Mama mboga alitumia hiyo.
Let me
Meaning,
answer you, Angie.
small business ladies, there are so many. So alisema anaenda kuvuta mtu wa chini afanye nini? Apande juu. So sisi wanawake wa chini kama mimi Angela, ule mwenye naenda Kikomba nikiokota viatu za mtumba, nikikuja nikizungusha, nikihustle, nilijua nitapata pesa, nitoke pale kwa viatu za kuzungusha, nitafute kibanda niweke. You understand?
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a simple question.
No, wacha nimalize my submission. So amejua hiyo narrative. Amejua hiyo narrative imeenda ili alidanganya. So amekaa chini akafikiria atafanyaje ndio alete tena huyu mwanamke karibu na yeye. Ndiposa amekuja na lugha ya two-thirds gender balance.
So let me ask you. So let me ask you, Angela, and respectfully, I don't like when someone just throws words so that they can stick around and maybe go unopposed. I don't normally subscribe to people who just spew words because they feel like they are right more than others. What is it that Mama Mboga wanted that Ruto has not done to them? Because if, for example, I can give you examples. The promise he made during campaigns is, I will build markets. I will build modern markets for the Mama Mboga to sell their products. He promised Mama Mboga that I will give you cheap credit. You know, you can't give everyone credit like a bank. You can't just hoard loans everywhere as if it's his money that he's going to give out. He must strategically plan how to give these Mama Mbogas money. He also promised to organize Mama Mboga into chamas so that he can empower them in his personal stature as president and as William Ruto. We have seen those things happen everywhere. Right now, there are over, I think, 30 markets being constructed, and some are
where are that markets? The only person in Najua amejenga soko.
Listening is a good thing. Listening. Give someone time.
Nairobi, even Sakaja promised us kutujengea masoko.
You brought us a liar here, and I'm not going to entertain this anymore. There's another liar who has been brought here. No, get the hell out of here.
Listen, I'm the one who is now talking. I'll play for you these guys. These are the promises.
This guy should go to hell.
William Samoei Ruto, on behalf of Kenya Kwanza Alliance, do hereby commit to actualize the two-third gender principle.
Oh, fuck yes, sir.
And to put in place mechanisms within the first 3 months of the Kenya Alliance government and ensure that this two-third gender principle is actualized immediately. The mechanism is in place, and that it doesn't have to wait until the next general election. On leadership again, I commit on behalf of Kenya Kwanza Alliance that we shall allocate 50% of all cabinet positions to the women of Kenya. Additionally, I commit that we will ensure that the Public Service Commission, in all its recruitment, and all government agencies, commissions, parastatals, and other government agencies shall strictly observe the two-third gender rule. Economic empowerment. I, William Samoei Ruto, on behalf of Kenya Kwanza Alliance, do hereby commit that 50% of the 50 billion Hustler Fund shall be ring-fenced towards women-owned enterprises. I also commit to actualize access to government procurement opportunities by ensuring that women-owned enterprises will automatically qualify for the LPO financing through the Hustler Fund without any other conditions.
Okay, guys, I think those are some of the promises that were given that people wanted to hear. Women were promised diapers and such kind of things. So, are we good?
No, you know, Leo, let me say something. Let me say something about this. These abusive. You know, I hate when people abuse people when they give their opinion, and that's so disrespectful, Rashira, to insult someone as umbwa, and that's not okay. And I won't be in a platform where people don't want to listen to other people's ideas and to other people's opinions, and instead of instead of listening to my idea so that you can dispute with your own fact, you are hurling insults to me because you think you are right, which is very, very wrong, and it's very unprofessional. So let me just say this before we can continue insulting each other. We can all agree that when a government comes to place, there must be time. We must have give them time to plan, to execute, and then what is this guy saying, by the way, Leo? And
proceed, unless you are listening, you are getting something that is not speaking.
No, I'm not.
Nobody can hear. Unless
Okay.
you are reading sign languages, just proceed.
No, that's okay. So let me say that William Ruto came to power in 2022, and he promised the women of Kenya that we must have sanity where their businesses are being carried out, and that is what he is doing exactly. I don't know where Angela is saying that she is in Nairobi as if the rest of us are living in Mars, and that she has walked all over Nairobi and seen that there are no markets being built. She has seen that there is no people who is receiving credit. Personally, I told you my Hustler Fund limit is 3,000 shillings, which is not much, but is enough for me. So not just few words over here to try and clean your own linen, thinking that we also don't know what we are doing in this country. I heard Wachira saying earlier that he is in America. I don't expect someone who is in America to claim to be knowing much more than we who are on the ground, who walked with the president when he was campaigning, who knows what he promised the people, who knows what exactly he's doing in our places. And personally, I can confirm to you that he's been in office in 18 months, but things he's done, only that the people just want people to be elected to build roads, wajenge barabara, wajenge magorofa, mupige mapicha, mtumie wazungu, muambie Kenya imeendelea. There are a lot of things that the president is doing that is helping those people who are down there, especially the farmers who are the biggest beneficiaries of this presidency, especially the fertilizer that he's giving these people. You are in Nairobi, especially Angela, and you are in America. You don't even participate in agriculture. Your job is going to the supermarket and buying unga at 200. Listen. So if you've never been into a farm and know how much it takes to buy inputs, how much it takes to cultivate and until you can harvest a bag of maize, you should not start saying that.
I give you calculation for cultivating 10 hectares. Nikupe hesabu.
Does not matter. You can calculate, but
mimi
you can
hulima.
calculate.
Hata saa hii nimetoka nyumbani juzi kulima. Next week naenda kupanda.
So are you using your fertilizer from your are you using your fertilizer or you're using
nilinunua fertilizer, si kufuata ya Ruto. Hii yenye haina ukweli, unaenda unaambiwa haijafika. For how long will I be spending 400 daily just going for a fertilizer of 3,000, and yet when I just do my small mathematician, hiyo 400 nikiongeza kwa hiyo 3,000 nanunua
Bro,
fertilizer pale without
you elected
with no
Akwak for a member of parliament. If you elected Akwak as a member of parliament and you elected Akwak as a governor, you should not blame the president. So you
not
guys are the
blaming
people.
the president. Mbolea haijafika. How do you expect that government kulipa mbolea
Which is
yenye
your place?
hajapewa, yenye
Which is your place?
haijamfikia?
Which is your place?
My dear, wacha
What is your
nikwambie,
place? Just say your location.
unajua shida yako ni
No,
unataka
we want to
kupaka
know
Ruto
what is your
mafuta
location.
aonekane vizuri.
No, I'm not. Wewe unataka kumpaka matope, so hata mimi acha nimpake mafuta yangu.
Simpaki
So
matope,
what is your
I'm
locality?
just talking the reality.
So what
Unasikia?
is your locality?
The only thing chenye najua, wale watu wanapata pesa za
Ati
nyumba
unajua.
kutoka kwa Ruto, they are the
Si ati
only people who
unajua.
normally support Ruto. He's doing good job. He's giving farmers fertilizer. Hata
What is your
Gachagwa
place?
alisema, mbona
What is
usaidie
your place?
mkulima na huu mkono na unamkata na hii mkono?
Mbona hutaki kutuambia kwenu? Ama
Why
unalipa
are
kwa
you
hewa?
interested to know where I come from?
Because you are lying.
I'm not lying. That is the
What
fact.
is your place?
Let's
confirm.
How will I be spending 400 daily kwenda Kitale ningojee mbolea yenye haijafika? Ilifika gunia ngapi? Ilifika gunia 500. How many farmers are in Kitale? And you
Registered
expect
farmers.
me
When
to
you are
spend
told,
there,
when you are told to
and you
register as a
you
farmer,
expect me to be spending my
no.
my transport when I do my small mathematician, hiyo fare nikisanya niongeze pamoja na nunua mbolea mara moja pale kwa duka na ninapanda.
You're just ignorant. You're just ignorant, my sister. You were told to register as a farmer, and the period was
And
extended
when
by 7
I
months.
registered as a farmer, haijafika mbolea yenyewe. Hiyo
No,
ndio kazi nitashindia.
Show us your number. What is your number? Wacha kudanganya Wakenya, wacha kudanganya watu. You are not fools. Unajua? No, you're fooling us around here.
People from Vihiga walikuwa wanapiga kelele, mbolea haijafika, wakienda wanapata hakuna, na ilikuwa kwa news. Ilikuwa ni wanadanganya.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. If you are not registered as a farmer and you
kama from Vihiga, from Mumbale, walikuwa wanadanganya.
No, I'm saying if you never registered as a farmer.
You have been sent to be a spy in this platform.
Sikia nikwambie na utulie sasa nikufunze ndio uniambie makosa yetu ni gani.
Nothing else. We kula pesa za Ruto, roho safi, kaa kando. Roho safi, kaa kando na pesa za Ruto. Juu zinakufaidi. Mnajenga masoko zenye hazionekani. Full stop.
Sasa unataka kuja kujengea kwako? You know, sometimes when I talk to people that reason the way Angela is reasoning, I feel like Kenya has a very long way to go. Kenya has a very long way to go. No, if you are reasoning that way, then Kenya has a very long way to go. That's why I even believe that the 2/3 gender rule that we were talking about before you started bringing issues of I don't know what, it will never be achieved if we have people who reason the way you are doing right now.
Ruto is a big liar. You understand?
Yes.
Ruto is a big liar.
Have you never lied?
Before election, when he was campaigning, he said, my cabinet will have ladies, a half of it. Aliweka half of it kwa cabinet yake. Ni wanawake ngapi wako pale?
Yes. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a very simple question. If you are president right now, that's the question I'm answering. That's the question I'm answering. And I'm asking you a question in form of an answer. If you are president today and you are given a mandate of selecting your cabinet, and when
empty promises, kama siwezi, nitaambia wananchi wacha nitafanya kile nitaweza, lakini si niweke panganga mingi, niaje kufurahisha wananchi kwa kile chenye siwezi fanya, badala yake ni kuwanyanyasa. Sasa hata mkulima wa avocado analipa ushuru. Ule mtu mwenye anaweka animal feed, akinunua animal feeds products analipa ushuru, akiuza analipa ushuru. Mtatunyanyaza mpaka lini?
Angela, when you say something, just mute your mic so that someone else can say something, because you are not even allowing someone to say anything. You're just shouting.
I'm not shouting. I'm not giving myself. I'm not giving you allowance to come here and lying to us the way your president normally lie to us.
Let us have
then
some
Leo,
order. Let
then
us
Leo,
have
it's
some
sorry.
order, please. Let us have some
Okay.
order. Let it not be an argument between the two.
Yeah.
Or what has happened, or let us talk of issues that this one was promised, it has not been fulfilled. And if Vincent wants to maybe prove that it has been fulfilled, let Vincent point to the other side, that you see this one was done in this way or that way. I think that wasn't the issue. We were looking at the president having promised of a women deputy president, and it will be seen that even in the last general election, out of the three candidates that were there, it is only William Ruto who had a male running mate. So does it mean William Ruto have realized the mistake that he did, that now he feels that a female running mate will make it, and making a female running mate is the only way these females can rise into that position?
Okay, let me answer that question in a way that maybe everybody will understand in a respectable manner. You know, sometimes these leaders, these women want to be pampered. They want to be begged. They want to be wanataka kukatiwa ndio wafanye kitu, waonekane they are special. We can't be pampering people if they can't pamper themselves. You heard today from the speeches from those governors who said, never be embarrassed to be a woman, never be ashamed to be a woman. So I think the women wanatakanga, when the president, when someone wants a position of power, for example, they want someone to go and simp and maybe seduce her, the way Ruto tried to talk to Mother Karua for 3 years, hoping that Mother Karua will agree to be his deputy. You know, the reason why there was a real problem during the selection of a deputy presidential candidate in the UDA side is because the equation that we had created, and I told you the last time, I don't know if everybody who is here right now was listening. I told you that last time when the president was selecting a deputy, he had a lot of things that he had to consider, and he had a lot of balances that he had to make, because the Mount Kenya had to be represented, and also he had to also consider a person who can hold the mountain together during that period, because he also needed to traverse other parts of the country. So the women in the picture that is brought up today, he said it very clearly, and I'm sure when you played your clip earlier, he said that mimi na Rigathi tutakaa chini tupange pale mbele. Pale mbele, he did not say that 2027, he did not say 2032, he just said hapo mbele. So it means that after they are finished with the tenure of that they were elected to serve as president and deputy, Rigathi Gachagua might or might not choose to run for president. That will be according to his own decision. But the president is clear in his mind that when I'm done with presidency, I'm going to retire in peace. And if Rigathi wants to run for president, he can do it at his own will. And then that's when he said they are going to sit down with these party members and make a law or a regulation that if going forward that you are going to be running for president from UDA as a party, you are going to be forced to select another gender as your either running mate or as the presidential candidate. If you are the male, for example, you are supposed to select a female as your deputy, or if you are the other way around, you do the vice versa. So this is a conversation that is not easy to attain, because politics is also not about who has not gotten what. Politics is also about who can command the numbers, who can command support, who can campaign for the candidate, who has the financial muscles to campaign for a person. So when we look at those political factors, we can see that there are women leaders who are capable of doing that. And if by 2027 William Ruto sees that this woman has risen through the ranks, and when they are doing those polls, And by the way, I don't know if Leo, you were here the other time when I was saying how we planned the election, how we won the election. I said how many hours that was spent to plan meticulously from the campaigning to the execution and now to the seat of presidency. I told you guys how we spent a lot of time to even safeguard our votes. So when I say that even when we are going to select the deputy, maybe in 2027, if need be, we are going to also use the same method of going to the people and counting the opinions of the people, so that if you are going with the candidate of deputy president as maybe, let's use Anne Waiguru as an example, and for argument's sake, if you are going to use Anne Waiguru, we have to also test the ground in Mount Kenya. Is the mountain comfortable with her candidature? Is the mountain behind her? Is the mountain behind Rigathi Gachagua? So that's how the president is going to do. And when I tell you that whenever you are running for a political position like presidency, you have to know what you want and you have to prepare in advance. That's why the president is preparing for 2027 in advance. He is preparing the team that is going to execute the presidency. I think the other side is busy doing nothing, and they'll come that time and start saying that the election is being stolen again. They'll say that William Ruto has rigged some members of parliament in. William Ruto has already planned who is going to replace which member of parliament that is not performing, that is not doing the work that was elected to do. He's going to make sure that the next term he is going to have a majority that does not need him to talk to other parties to give him.
Are you trying to imply that William Ruto is the one who is going to elect for people, because you're saying he's identified the people who are going to replace? Are people not responsible for electing people they feel don't perform for them?
Yeah, let me argue
Ruto
in
is the
this.
decider for the voters, and he knows the priorities that the voters have.
No, sometimes when you are also a politician, and I can deduct this from the ODM party, I can tell you that loyalty is one thing that is a key pillar in politics of Kenya. And if you show a little disloyalty to your party leader or to your senior most leader, you will obviously be kicked out. So I'm not saying that there are people who are already being planned to be kicked out, but during nomination, you saw the people, the likes of Alfred Keter of Nandi Hills, during the nomination and the primaries, Alfred Ketel stole an election and declared himself a winner of the primaries, but the courts nullified and we had to go back to the primaries again. So that's why I'm saying that there are people who pretend to be part of your dream as a person, but when the election is done, they shift and become other things. We can see that from those members of ODM that were elected in and went to see the president at State House. I'm not calling them Vigeugeu. I'm just saying that when the election ended, they knew that it's done for Raila now. It's done. The only place that I can go to negotiate, maybe for myself or for my constituents, is the person who has the cake and the person who has the knife, so that when the cake is being divided, I also be part of the cake.
Vincent, that doesn't mean that you don't believe that we are having a constitution that has put and laid down all the structures, how the government resources should not only be shared, but how it should be acquired, how the government should get its revenues and share this revenue equally among the Kenyans who are paying taxes. Does it mean that you have to kneel down or you have to bow to a side of the person cutting the cake, yet the cake
Leo,
contributed by Kenyans equally, and they expect to get it equally? Is
Leo,
this the
I can
politics that maybe we should be selling young ambitious men and women outside there that they should advocate for?
Leo, that's not my saying. That's the politics of Africa, not even Kenya. That's the politics of Africa that dictates that when we give almost 70-something% of our resources to the executive, and that executive, the budget that the members of parliament make, they are allowed to also legislate and make budget allocation for the roads, for the projects, for electricity projects, But execution is another thing. Now the president will start maybe doing those priority projects in an order that also he thinks fit. That's why I tell you, when someone goes to persuade the president that, Mr. President, we put this road in my constituency in the budget, but I have seen that it's been moved down the food chain. How am I going to bring it up? So this is not my saying, or this is not anybody saying. This is our politics. So the president will see maybe let me say ni kama kubadilisha, change of heart. Let me say change of heart. Maybe if the road was to be built in late 2027, it can be moved earlier to 2026, not because he has power to do so, but because if this member has pleaded maybe for his constituents and has shown the reason why we have to prioritize this road, maybe because maybe there's a factory there that is going to help farmers take their produce to the market or to the factory, or if there is an hospital.
Okay.
Yes. So what I'm trying to say is that the president has the cake, and this cake is the one who distributes it with the assistance of the members of parliament. So I'm not saying that the president is the only one who has the power to cut the cake, but when the cake is being cut by the members of parliament, and we know the majority will always have their way and the minority will have their say. So the majority that is the one that is chairing all the committees in parliament are the people who always enjoy that privilege of selecting the projects that go to various member county constituencies, and the various constituents committee members that are in the committee can negotiate in that committee also, so that when the chair of the committee is going to present this budget whatever to parliament, the road can be considered. So it doesn't mean that it's the president that is going to help you. Maybe sometimes I can agree that some of them went there to fast track the project that maybe the president promised to their people, but there are people also who went there for their behalf on their stomachs, the same way we have seen Raila do several times. So it's nothing new. It's our politics.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think even as you continue watching and following this, I just want to remind you that now it is easy for you to, for those people who love eating fish, for you to get fresh Lake Victoria fish from wherever you are. This one has been made possible by One Noel's worldwide fish deliveries. They deliver fish right from Lake Victoria to wherever you are. If you're in Atlanta, you are in Toronto, you are in Perth, Australia, you are in South Africa, you are in any part of this world, and you just insist that you want that tilapia from Lake Victoria, you'll get it delivered. So don't forget to order your fish. So Vincent, I'll just allow you guys 3 minutes each to give your closing remarks, as I also remind our members not to forget tomorrow we are having a special show that is Bed of Roses from 8 p.m. That is East African time. So let us not miss.
Join us every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a captivating journey into the world of love, relationships, and romance, presented by the dynamic trio Maggie Knox, MC Jesse, and Annie Waweru. Bed of Roses promises to be your weekly dose of heartwarming stories, insightful discussions, and expert advice on matters of the heart. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or simply love a good love story, this is the show for you. Don't miss out on the chance to unwind and indulge in the joys and challenges of love, all brought to you by our talented hosts. Tune into Africa 24 every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and let us guide you through the enchanting world of bed.
So Vincent, maybe I'll give you 3 minutes to give your closing remarks. You can just hover around some of the things that we've looked at.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Leo, for the opportunity. Although I came in late a bit today, but I've been following in the background, and I hope as from the next show, I will start with you guys. I have realized that people, when we are, and I've said this here before, that when you are opposing something, you normally don't need facts to defend yourself, or you don't need facts to prove your point. But whenever you are speaking from the position I speak from, I am not employed by any government. I am not working for any president. I'm not working for anybody in Kenya Kwanza. I am just some hustler somewhere doing my own things and trying to make my ends meet. So when I see some guys here saying that I eat Ruto's money in silence and you know, no, I am not eating nobody's money. I'm just saying everything with my own opinion and as facts are. I'm not saying anything that I don't know. That's why whenever I come to this platform, I make sure I do my assignment well. I make sure I prepare so well so that whenever I hear someone spewing something that I disagree with, I try to school them. Don't feel angry, or don't feel like I'm here to outshine you, or I'm here to say something you don't want to hear. If you can't allow someone else to share their opinion, then you are not ready for the truth. So I think the reason why Afrique 24 came into place is because they believe in unlocking the real stories from the ground, the real stories, the factual stories, so that those people who are listening, they can learn and can get to know things that they might not have access through the internet. They can get our opinions and share their ideas from the comments so that we can also exchange ideas. When you see people running, Mr. Leo, I can tell you, cowards are always the cowards are always running, and they will run and they will run until one day we catch up with them. The reality is soon getting to them, and I'm sure some of these people that you are hearing that are spewing a lot of things here are the ones who are going to sing Ruto's name in the next 10 years. Because when the president retires from office, you're going to look back and say that, wow, we got a president here. Kenyans are used to this tendency of seeing things that make their eyes happy so that they can take selfies. The president we have right now is doing those things that we call the unseen, those things that affect the people who matter most. And that's why you're feeling that some people here are feeling the heat, because they were used to be those tenders that were being given by the previous governments to build SGR, to build I don't know what, and their family members get kickbacks. Their family members are beneficiaries of those corruption. Right now, even if there might be corruption, or even if there is corruption in government, which I'm sure there is in every country, even Kenya is among the countries that I'm sure corruption is going to be a difficult fight to win. If we are having people who are reasoning the way I've had people reason here, we are going to have a very big problem in fighting corruption. And I think going forward, if we can't all agree that if the president has given a motive, and for example, today you had the cabinet say that going forward, we are going to put the account. I don't remember the exact words that the cabinet dispatch said, but there's something they said that they are going to consolidate the bank accounts and reduce on the banks that we transact our businesses as government. And that's one way of showing that the president is also committed to fighting corruption. He's also showing, especially the corruption that was there in the agricultural sector that I was trying to tell Angela before. I told her that when the president launched the digital the registration of farmers, most people took that as a joke and they didn't even care whether it works. But I can tell you right now, before even the fertilizer starts departing from Nairobi, a message comes to your phone telling you that on Friday you should pick your fertilizer from your nearest NCPB, whatever those, I don't know how they call those stores. I can tell you, and I told you here before, that in my 6 constituencies in Kisii, the 9 constituencies, sorry, in Kisii, trucks were here fully loaded with fertilizer, and the farmers are already picking their fertilizer since last week, and it's going on until next week. For those who don't have access to the places where the stores are, the fertilizer is being also transported to the nearest locations, and the chiefs are the ones responsible. So sometimes whenever you want to say something, just look for one fact and prove that this and this happened, and me, I was part of those people who registered, but I did not get, and show us really that you did not get. That's how we spew facts in Africa 24. I can't say much now because I was supposed to make my ending remarks, but I really wanted to share a lot that I had. I wanted to recap a lot that I had when I was listening, but I can't find time to also remember everything that you guys said. I want to thank you, Leo, for being our host today, and I hope that as from next week or when we have a next show, you will be with us, and we have our Bonnie, and I want these guys that are who are insulting and who are using those disallowed words on YouTube and other platforms to cease from using such kind of words, because we also need this platform to grow and to be seen as a responsible platform all over the world. I thank you, and I wish those who are in Kenya a good night, and those who are in America a good evening.
Thank you so much. Angela, Dakambili, just your closing remarks, then we wind it up. Angela, can you hear me?
She's muted, I think.
Let me see if I can help her. All right. Maybe she's having some a problem with the connecting. Meanwhile, from this end, I just want to say thank you for the ones who tuned in. And of course, tomorrow we are going to have a session. That is after the Bedo process. We are going to have a political section. So ensure you save the date so that you don't miss on this. And that was today's open political show. So I wish you a good night for the ones who are sleeping, the ones who are waking up, good morning, and the ones who are going to have taken their lunch, good